Hello, everybody. Welcome to DermapenWorld UK, Synergy of Solutions, Exosomes. Again, thank you very much for joining me and the amazing DermapenWorld team who are on this webinar with me. If you have any questions going through the next hour, you can pop them in the chat if you wish, and they can hopefully help you. But we'll also have a Q&A afterwards, where we can go through some questions that you may have at that point. So let's start. First and foremost, exosomes are obviously a big subject right now. Lots of people talking about them. Lots of people have opinions about them, but we won't talk about those. It's a very simplistic process in a way. That sometimes comes across as more complex. But what I'm going to do is try and make it as simple as possible so that, one, you understand it, but also how you can explain this to your clients without going into a full science lesson. So first and foremost, we need to know what the backstory is that surrounds the exosomes. We have a thing called the organization, which is actually supported by the biologists, and it's a relationship between us. So we know that level 1 is cellular level. Number 2 is a tissue. Number 3 is the organ level. Number 4 is the organ system. And number 5 is the organism, which is us. Now, when you look at that slide, it looks a little bit complicated and all the things that are going on with it. But actually, the simplicity of it is when you look at the very top picture, that single cell starts out there, hits mitosis, which goes right through, and we end up the organism, i.e. us. So what I'm trying to say, very simplistically, is that without that single cell, we will not exist. So everything in our life, whether it's traditional medicine or aesthetic medicine or regenerative medicine, is all related to that cell, that communication pathway, the way it works. Over time, it can die off, the conversation stops happening. We need to make sure that this is current and happening all the time. We need to look after these cells. They are the smallest living embodiment of us and are powerhouses, each and every one of them. And this is where exosome therapy has really been a game changer in relation to this, because we now understand what they actually are. So we know that exosomes are small extracellular vesicles secreted by various cell types. They have merged relatively recently, actually, as key players in intercellular communication. So because they play this incredible role in communication and signaling, they can transfer biomolecules, i.e. messages, between cells, meaning, and also they can travel extremely long distances. So they are a communication pathway, an envelope of information that is delivered to each and every cell of our body. They are released from our cells in the millions, and it happens all the time. Histologically, we have the formation of them, so we know that inside the cell and membrane curves inwards, creating a specialized lipid, which is actually an exosome. The composition is a major mix of ingredients like proteins, peptides, nucleophonic acids like RNA, growth factors, amino acids, coenzymes, vitamins, minerals, and I go on. This is an enormous amount of ingredients that actually form the exosome membrane. Once these are created, they are excreted from the cell. Historical is pretty amazing. And I remember this years ago when I was actually studying as part of when I was at university and talking about cells, etc. It was a waste product, a byproduct, because they are so incredibly tiny. I can't even tell you how much smaller than a living cell it is, but minute in comparison. They were all considered because waste products are released by the cells all the time, and this was just assumed it was another one. Fast forward, it isn't. Huge research is happening as we speak, and we now know categorically that its crucial role as a mediator in direct cell-to-cell communication. And that last phrase, cell-to-cell communication, is everything in regenerative medicine. It also has restorative effects and is anti-inflammatory. So this is actually quite interesting because the anti-inflammatory response acts as a catalyst. So it stops any inflammation, which will support the extracellular or the cellular rejuvenation. Now, unfortunately, we do have some deceptive advertising out there, and it's happening quite a lot at the moment. So I'm going to simplify this as simply as I possibly can so that you can actually explain the differences when you're talking to your clients and also understand it yourself. Now, don't get me wrong, botanicals, stem cells and exosomes, they're amazing. Well, stem cells more so, because they do contain lots of lovely things. They contain potent antioxidants. They can help with all sorts of amazing things. But what they can't do is regenerate if they're not completely relatable to us. So we know from historical education and also from new studies, new publications that have been coming out, that how we can work with each species and as an individual, whether it be top botanical, mineral, vegetable. They work with each other, but they don't work crossing over, or they can't jump species. Now, I've made a very simple diagram here to kind of prove this point. So we know, especially the apple is like a big thing. And I've said this a million times, do I look like an apple if you're going to put apple exosomes in me? If we use the exosomes from those variable things in the front there, the apple, the fish, the flower, the cow, and the human, and we add those exosomes to the same elements, fabulous. Absolutely 100% it's going to work. Beautiful. Of course it's going to. It accepts, it understands, it's made of it. What happens if we mix it up? So if we've got, again, those same elements right there, and we go, hang on a minute, what can happen if we do this? Absolutely not. It can't. And that's not an opinion, that's fact. How can an apple stem cell stroke exosome become a plant, a fish, a human, a plant, a fish, a cow, an apple, a human, a cow? It's absolutely impossible. So with these new incredible researches and innovations that are coming through constantly with the research behind exosomes, stem cells, RNA, DNA, all the rest of it, it's absolutely mind-blowing that we are on the precipice of some quite unbelievable things right now. Now, we have research behind this as well. So this is something that is also very, very relevant when you're talking to your clients, because we know that by utilizing exosomes as targeted therapy, so we're looking at individual protocols here, it could be more effective and personalized. It's revolutionary in the way we diagnose and treat various medical conditions, because we can tailor it to those particular healthcare interventions. Scientists are, as we speak, unraveling this unbelievable potential that is surrounding exosomes. And they're working with things like regenerative medicine, cancer therapy, immune modulation, autism, and Alzheimer's. So it's really, really amazing. Because as I stated earlier, they are envelopes of information, taking those pieces of information to various cells throughout the body. If they can hone in on the information pathway of those particular conditions and stop them, the world is its oyster. So watch this space. Introducing DermapenWorld exosomes. Now, these are very different philosophy and an amazing backstory behind how the creation of this happened. So Deeper Dermaceuticals exosomes core technology is based on the youngest, most potent, safest amniotic fluid-derived mesenchymal stem cells. That's a mouthful. It's patented world exclusive immune tolerance features. I'll get to that in a second because it's extremely important. It's been accredited by the Korean government and the Japanese FDA. It's also won the New Excellence Technology Award 4 times, and that is an equivalent to a Korean Nobel Prize. The mechanism can be used both topically and clinically, and they've been proven over the 20 years of clinical data that we have based on this, that the immune rejection during the cell-cell communication process doesn't happen. That's the bit that we're looking for, because the body can actually get to a point where it gets used to it, understands it, and it plateaus. Simplicity. Think of them as diplomatic ambassadors. Imagine exosomes as an ambassador of repair. A cell is damaged, exosomes come into play. Their message is very clear: repair, don't destroy. They act like diplomats, balancing relations between cells. Think of them as tiny messengers that cells use to communicate with each other. Now, how they do it. We take banked amniotic fluid-derived mesenchymal stem cells into exosomes, then create a recipe or a blueprint. This blueprint breaks down the proteins and peptides into amino acid building blocks, but more importantly, at this point, they reverse the human compatible sequence secreted by nucleic acids to ensure a true exosome therapy. Now, nucleic acid, or RNA, is an essential molecule. I'm sure many of you know what that is. It has many roles in cells, from carrying the instruction to make proteins to regulating genes. RNA is one of the most versatile molecules in life. The blueprint is then created biomimetically to deliver a fully synthetic product. So as we said, an exosome is essentially a ball of peptides, protein, and nucleic acids. It is a ribonucleic acid, which are recognized as human-like and facilitate penetration into the cell by the ribosome. The ribosome, you can see in that cell, it surrounds the nucleus. And a ribosome is a complex machine found inside each and every living cell that produces proteins from amino acids. During this protein called synthesis or translation, the protein process synthesis is primary function and is performed by every single living cell. Hence why it responds. The exosomes will respond. These exosomes will respond. Created via a filtration system, a bit like panning for gold, pushing it that little tray backwards and forwards, and all the dirt and the mud comes through, and you're left with that gorgeous gold. That's a good analogy. These selected exosomes are then purposely improving skin and hair only. It's not a super polypeptides or amino acids. We don't know what it's targeting. These are specifically created for skin and hair only. So synthetic exosomes mimic natural exosomes and can deliver those bioactive molecules to skin cells. They definitely contribute to skin rejuvenation, hydration, anti-aging factors. Synthetic exosomes provide both peptides and PGRM, which I'll talk about in a minute, technology to deliver the next generation of skin boosters. They are immune tolerant, which means they don't plateau. The effects don't plateau. So exosomes as an entity are between 30 and 150 nanometers in size. We have lipids in the formula, and we have over 3,300 protein expressions in the product. So DermapenWorld also uses a patented LHAG component, which stops the body rejecting the exosomes, as it has been shown that after time, the body identifies the exosomes as a foreign body, and the macrophage rejects them, and hence the reason why there is a plateau effect with continued use. Now, DermapenWorld have placed this HLAG ingredient inside it, which is actually an immunity checkpoint, meaning it down-regulates the immune system's response. And it's a completely natural product from us. We find it in things like saliva, plasma, thymus, seminal plasma. So inside, 1,000 plus peptides, between 500 and 800 proteins, 800 plus growth and transcription factors, 373 different types of lipids, cytokines, antioxidants, and enzymes, RNA, targeting molecules like nucleic acids and proteins, proton transporters, antigens, integrins, huge. And this next slide will make your eyes pop. This is it. This is the structural component or nanobiological blueprint of what's actually in the product. I should test everybody on that, shouldn't I? Now, let's actually introduce our youngest, purest, potent, and ethical biomimetic exosome. Sourced naturally. Yes, we discussed the amniotic fluid, but it's gone through that process of being biomimetically replicated via the nanotechnology, meaning it's completely synthesized, safe, human component free. The technology reduces product variability, it's clean in composition, it's consistent and safe product outcome, increased purity and concentration, controllable, and complete removal of all sourced human, animal material or its component. So we know it's completely synthesized, no human components, just acellular, no DNA, no negative surface markers, can be transferable from patient to patient, unlike PRP or nanofats, which is completely patient dependent. True exosomes, as I said, is between 30 and 200 nanometers, the size of a cell. Negative environmental factors are eliminated, does not contain apoptotic bodies, which is death will kill off cells, no risk of granuloma or vascular occlusion, and does not need to be refrigerated. If you don't understand, if that isn't enough for you, we can throw this into the mix as well. So when you're talking to the clients about this, you can use terms such as synthetically replicated, biomimetically synthesized, or human compatible. Drugs on the market that have been used both human and bioidentical options, just like EXOSKIN, one, HRT. HRT is a natural hormone which is compounded bioidentical. The hormone said they are compounded and they are made in custom doses. You probably heard about it, but it is from lots of people's processes or thought processes that it is actually a more natural and better way than standard HRT, which would be human derived. And insulin is exactly the same. Analog insulin is a subgroup of human insulin. It's laboratory grown and is used for people with type 1 diabetes and has been for over 20 years. So both of those drugs were for many years human, and now they're not. So biomimetic replication or recombinant technology is used with these two and with many, many other things. So MG EXOSKIN does contain 65.5% regeneration exosomes. It has our patented high diffuse technology, which is 3 molecular weights of HA. It has a calosome, which is a collagen activator. It has vitamin C, which helps eliminate reactive oxygen species. It has PCA wound healing, panthenol wound healing, and aloe vera, which is a bioflavonoid and a polyphenol, which helps support and restructure. The EXOSKIN home care, this is technically the only thing you would need to actually give them. And this is mind-blowing, actually, because when you use this, it completely disappears into the skin, totally gone. And that amazing image there, you can see the epidermal junction is that dotted line at the very bottom. So that green is mid-epidermis. That is the EXOSKIN under microscope with green light. We can actually see it's placed mid-epidermis. So it is, and it is tiny. The molecules are absolutely tiny, so they will 100% penetrate through the skin. We know it's got 4 types of vitamin C, which evens texture and skin tones. That helps as well from an external perspective. Ceramide complex, which helps with the hydration and bumps the skin. Peptide, reduction in wrinkles. Hyaluronic acid for hydration. Various vitamins for the healing process. Harnessing the latest technology breakthrough. We have all of the exosomes, which we've discussed already, 47% of them. The tolerability when it comes to this, or the actual indications, all conditions, all colors, all ethnicities. So we're treating rejuvenation, retard, anti-aging, hypigmentation, telangiectasia, rosacea, atrophic, hypertrophic, post-operative, acne, inflamed, sensitized, volatile, safe at oral application. Because as we said earlier, these are chemical messages sent from every single cell to target a specific condition. And this is what this cell will be looking for, a specific condition that can help them to treat these particular concerns. Patients who are seeking other alternatives like PRP, and as we said, PRP is donor dependent. We're not deemed compromised for autologous procedures. We don't want blood drawn or have micro cannula liposuction, desired for more holistic approach and regenerative. Want to seek combination therapies as well, or they want to demand ethically non-human solution, which has no farm animal byproducts. Evidence-based, effective and results-oriented technology, very important. So we know the protocols will be given to you if you're already using our amazing range. If you'll start to use this, of course, you'll have full training based on it. But the actual treatment itself is you want to draw minimal pinpoint blood. The treatment's done every 4 weeks, and you follow up with the Exo Skin as their home care. These are some incredible before and afters. So as you can see, we're looking at acne, aging, melasma, rosacea, scarring, and dyschronia. You can see the difference before and afters on these. They're quite incredible. Now, we have another little game changer coming on the horizon in the next month or two. We'll be launching very soon in a much bigger way, but you're the first to hear this new product line that's actually coming to us. Exo Skin has now created, or DermapenWorld, I'm sorry, have created Exo Grow for hair. Now, what we said earlier about the fact that exosomes will target most of all conditions due to that communication, due to the fact that these messages are being sent, the Exo Grow will, or the Exo Skin, I'm sorry, will actually work with hair. Definitely, we've seen some great results. That bottom image is something I did recently. That's 3 treatments, and I did a case study on that. However, there are lots of different forms of hair loss. So androgenic, Exo Grow Exo Skin will work with, absolutely. But there are many, many other forms, and we need to also have a range of products to be used post. So with especially androgenic alopecia, it's the body basically saying, I need to lose hair, and it's quite normal. It's not a negative. The people who have hair don't have that. The hair is just kept. So we can replace, restore, maintain the hair, but the body will at some point go back onto its normal ideas and thinking, hang on a minute, this is not correct. I'm not supposed to have this. And the hair will start to push out again. So we need to consistently, technically trick the brain into believing that this hair is fine. So home care is extremely important. The ingredients in the Exo Grow is a little bit different than the Exo Skin. It contains other ingredients, which we'll go to once it's here and we can launch it correctly, or on a much bigger scale, which will help all of the different forms of hair loss. So we have the Exo Grow, which is the injectable delivered via the Dermapen 4 needling device. We have a mask, we have the shampoo and the conditioner. And there are 2 more, which I won't be telling you about. So watch this space. So in order to understand again how the exosomes work, we need to understand the growth phases of hair. And this is literally how it works. So when we've got the papilla, which as we all know, skin goes through mitosis, so does hair. It goes through mitosis process at the base of the papilla. We need to keep this hair in anagen as long as humanly possible, because if that's the case, that is the continuing growth phase. What exosomes do, they work by keeping the hair in that growth phase. That means that the growth factors at that point are then able to work and sustain that hair's growth. And actually, this one is incredible. We've had quite a lot of studies recently coming through that not only does it make the hair longer, denser, thicker, but there's a large body of evidence that's actually proving that the new hair comes out darker as well. Remember, this is regeneration, starting again. Now, the lovely Kelly, our amazing director, has said to me that she's going to offer this incredible deal for you just for the people that want the meeting this evening. So we've got the Exo kit, which is 1 box of 5 vials, 5 30ml EXOSKIN serum, so that's their home care, 1 EXOSKIN 50ml, that's what you use in clinic, and it's usually 1329, which includes VAT, it's now 1,000. And the EXOSKIN 50ml is reduced by 25% to you, usually 198 and now 149. The costings in this is pretty amazing, and I've been very low end on this because this is not what a lot of people charge. To me, EXOSOMES will be the top of the tree, the coup de grace, the most, the biggest facial you're offering because of what it does. You're targeting most conditions here. Now, I'm not saying this is used on every single client all the time consistently. This is something you could look at when you've got difficult conditions, or you've got someone who's compromised skin, deep pigmentation issues, melasmas, things like that. Or from my perspective, what I do is I start out every single client on this to restore their skin before I can then move on to the MG collection, which is obviously amazing. And that will work with the conditions going forward with the acne, pigmentation, hydration, all the different things that it offers. So this isn't something you will do every 4 weeks forever. To me, this is your biggest, toppest medical facial known to man. So what I've done here is made it very simple. The cost to you is 448. The average with a 5ml vial, the average amount is 2 ml. The cost to you, sorry, I put client, it's not, its cost to you is £40. The average, this is where I've been downplayed it. The average cost per treatment is 300. Most people are charging around 450 to 500. So your profit is £3,000 based on it. However, at 2 ml, considering you get 5 ml per vial, you are now left with an extra 5 ml, which would add on another profit of £3,600. So it is a very, very cost-effective product. And you can also, because like all the exo serums, MG serums, you can use small amounts. So if you're targeting a scar, for example, you're going to be pulling out a very small amount. Well, that went quicker than I thought it was going to. I hope that was okay with everybody. Let me have a little look and see if there's any questions that you would like me to answer. Elizabeth, sign me up. Perfect. Yes, you will receive the slides afterwards. Well, actually, you'll receive the video. So there's a video of this, and you'll get to receive that. What depth do we needle on? That's completely down to the patient. Needling is that's what needling is all about, isn't it? It's the amount of what we're trying to get that end point. So with EXOSOMES, I'm looking for a pinpoint bleeding. So you're looking anywhere between 0.5 and maybe 8, 9. But again, 100% related to the person. My rule of thumb is err on the side of caution, start low and work your way up. You can store them for 6 months once opened. Krishna, sign me up. Yes, absolutely. It's being done as we speak. Do we need training? If you're not already trained in DermapenWorld, then I would suggest yes, because it's not just EXOSOMES here. Tonight's been all about EXOSOMES because it's a very big topic and lots of people are very interested in it. But the MG collection is mind blowing. So to me, it's a collaborative effort. We need all of it. So I would prefer that you would do training, and also it'd be great to see you again. Oh, Kai, have you noticed an increased facial hair growth with EXOSKIN? No, personally, absolutely not. It's a different thing. What you could do, because you've got the vellus terminus issue going on here, 100%, I would say eyebrow. If you are losing eyebrow hair, yes, that would happen. I can also imagine in men around beards, if it gets a bit patchy, I can absolutely see that as well. But with vellus, no, it won't turn vellus terminus. Oh, can we put the offer slide out? There you go. Martinez, you're using it already and you've seen amazing results. That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. The Sophia has popped the ATP registration in the chat. You can click on that and you can register. Chris, no, you need it all. Yeah, you do. I don't know who iPhone is, but we will absolutely sign you up. Just sign up to the ATP. And yeah, the lovely Kim, who works in head office, and the beautiful Derbyshire. If you send her personally an email saying that you watched this evening's webinar and what you would like to order, she will personally do that for you. And Martinez, you can be our little flag waver. You've been using it for 2 years and you've seen incredible results. It's amazing. In actual fact, if you do have any amazing some before and afters, I'd love to see them. It looks like that's it. Wow. Okay. Amazing. Thank you so much. Don't worry if you have any more questions. You can always get a hold of me or any of the team. We're more than welcome to help you. And the amazing sales team, who are just the best, can support you. And well, all of us will. So I hope to see some of you because we've got all the shows coming up soon, haven't we? Pro Beauty, AM North, CCR. Please come to all of them. We've got some surprises for you there as well. I'm dangling that carrot, aren't I? So have a brilliant rest of your evening, and it was really nice to spend time with you this evening. So take care. Speak soon.